everyone, and welcome back to the Jailhouse Informant. We're here in other locations other than at the jail this evening, but we're locked in for the next hour with myself and my business partner and co-host, Dr. Christy Sumner. Hey, Chris.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing this evening? Thank you so much for joining us. As Miranda said, we're in two different places. We are not in the jail tonight. I am down here in Florida for a couple days, just visiting the family. And Miranda, you're hanging out in Cleveland for a couple days as well.
I am, yeah. So we're not in the jail, but we're in the garage, and looks like a very plush jail there behind you.
Right. So again, thank you everybody for joining us. We've had a heck of a week, lot going on. We're going to get to a few announcements here in a few minutes, but we've got some really cool things to announce. But I think we're going to show something first, right, Miranda?
So I don't know if you guys caught this live, but of course, last month during February, during our Crimes of Passion flashlight tours and our Fall in Love with History Month, we had some special guests at the jail, the folks from Living East Tennessee, and so.
Sorry, my bad. So I'm trying to turn my phone off.
That's okay. And so like I said, we had the folks from Living East Tennessee out there. And so they came by, and then they did a live segment there at the jail. But then also, what was it? Was it a week ago? They featured us on their segment, Road Tripping East Tennessee. And so they had that live, but we wanted to go ahead and highlight that because I can't say enough good things about WATE Channel 6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have done an amazing job of helping us get the word out. Who would have thought it would be so hard to get the word out, you know?
I know. It has been a struggle, but it's been, like you said, a lot of fun. And Eric Bradzel was just a great guy. We had a lot of fun talking with him. He really just spent almost half the day there with us, just going through the jail and hearing our stories. So just a really great guy, great broadcaster. And so we're very happy and pleased with being able to work with WATE.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to take a few minutes, and in case you missed that live, we wanted to be able to showcase it here. So we're going to show that now. Let me get that queued up.
We've taken a trip out to Scott County, and we are standing in the historic Scott County Jail. I am joined by Dr. Christy Sumner, who is the co-owner of History, Highways, and Haunts that oversees the restoration of the historic Scott County Jail. Thank you so much for inviting us today, Dr. Christy. Tell us a little bit about the Scott County Jail.
First of all, thank you for coming. We really appreciate the support. And the Scott County Jail was built in 1904. It was in operation until 2008. And it really was a fixture in the community in the sense that you had inmates that were here that was related to somebody in the community, or you had jailers here or deputies that were related to somebody in the community. So it really is a historic building in a historic landmark within Scott County. So what we wanted to do was really preserve that history and allow people to come in and really get a sense of, one, what the building was like when there were inmates here, but also read some of the historical articles that we were able to put together, kind of follow our historic timeline that we have back here, and really understand the history of Scott County from different perspectives.
A lot of work has gone into the revitalization of this space. A lot of effort, a lot of work. What keeps you coming back every single day, Dr. Christy?
I think it's really the love of history. Both my business partner, Miranda Young, and I, we really wanted to find a location that we could help highlight and preserve. And Miranda is from Scott County, so to be able to bring that to the citizens of the county is something that we really wanted to do. So what brings us back is just the love of what we're doing. You know, we've had different groups come in, from school groups to historical community groups to mayors and archivists from other counties that really kind of want to mirror what we've been doing here. So we're really proud of what we've accomplished in just a few short months.
So many community groups have probably enjoyed this space. Are there any other specialty groups that have stopped by?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've got some paranormal groups that love to get into the historic Scott County Jail.
Well, on that note, let's head up to the second floor and talk with the other co-owner right here at the Scott County Jail about paranormal investigations. Okay, so now we are on the second floor of the historic Scott County Jail. I am joined by Miranda Young of history, highways, and haunts. They are overseeing the restoration of the historic Scott County Jail. Now, tell us a little bit about the paranormal investigations that you guys have happening here.
Yeah, so we have a lot of investigations happening. We have everyone from paranormal investigation teams who are the professionals in the field to folks who are just paranormal enthusiasts that want to come and experience the paranormal activity we're having. We offer everything from flashlight tours for the people who just kind of want to come in, get a little bit of a history and story by flashlight, to others that want to do more of the ghost hunting experience. And with those, Dr. Christie and I lead those ghost hunts.
I have to ask, what is your favorite paranormal story or experience here at the historic Scott County Jail?
We've actually had quite a few, but my favorite probably has to be the one I've experienced myself. And I was actually locking up from a paranormal investigation team. I had come out into the entrance of the jail, and I heard this audible humming, this deep voice humming. It went on for about 6 seconds, which is a long time in paranormal time.
Yeah.
It even cleared its throat. So as I'm going in and packing up my stuff, we end up capturing 2 voices on the security camera footage that says, it was 2 males, and one says, "There she is," and the next says, "Not so loud next time."
Note. A whole bucket full of note. For our viewers out there in East Tennessee, where can they go for more information and to follow the news and progress of the historic county jail here in Scott County?
So we have a great Facebook page, Historic Scott County Jail. We post all of our different events and everything we've got going on here, as well as the website, www.historicscottcountyjail.com.
Thank you so much for inviting us out and sharing the amazing history behind the Scott County Jail with us today. All of this information can be found on livingeasttennessee.com. I'm Eric Brazil, and today we are in Scott County road tripping.
The great thing about youth sports.
All right. Yeah, let me stop this. Our video starts automatically. Got to show that commercial, make that money.
Yeah. So again, that was just a lot of fun. Eric was just a great guy. We really enjoyed having him out, and it really is refreshing to have a station like WATE that's willing to come out and highlight what we're doing.
Absolutely. If we can only just get them to come out and do one of our ghost hunts.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, invite's always open, Eric.
That's right. So again, welcome to everyone here in the chat room. If you have any questions at all for our guest tonight when we get to that, or for us, please feel free to put that in the comments. If you don't mind, put that in all caps, just so we don't miss you whenever we're doing that. But a couple more things that we want to get to before we get to our lovely ladies tonight. Just want to talk just a little bit about 2 really cool events that we're about to announce. We've kind of been teasing a little bit about it over the last couple days because we've been waiting on a few confirmations from some of the people who are involved. But I'm going to go ahead here and share the screen again on one of the really cool events that we've got coming up here. It's really excited about this one. Because this is something that I know is very near and dear to both mine and Christy's hearts, being bikers and such. So we're actually going to be having, and let me see if I can zoom in on that just a little bit.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see here.
It looks pretty good.
Oh, well, thank you. There we go. Okay, so it's actually in my document file where I've been working on the design of it. However, so we're going to be hosting a blessing of the bikes at the historic Scott County Jail on April 16th. That just happens to be Easter weekend. And so what better time? I know today and this week has just been beautiful bike weather here in Tennessee. And we've had some bikers out at the jail over the last 2 days. And so we're hoping to kick off Easter weekend right, as well as kick off the riding season with the blessing of the bikes from the Christian Motorcycle Association, Servants of Jesus 1256. They're the Clinton chapter. They're going to be coming all the way over to Scott County, and they're going to be doing this event.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're really excited. We're hoping that everybody who's watching here, if you're a biker, come on out. If you know bikers, please spread the word because this is going to be really fun. We're going to have everybody park right in front of the jail. As Miranda said, we're going to have the Christian Motorcycle Association bless our bikes, and we're going to have a food truck out there, just some different events going on. You can come in and tour the jail. And so it's just going to be a really fun afternoon. And like Miranda said, it's going to be really nice to kick off the Easter weekend with something such as this blessing of the bike. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everybody say a little prayer that we have great weather on the 16th. But we're really excited about this event.
Yeah, and we've got some special things for the bikers. I designed this sticker, or it's going to be a sticker. We're getting those printed. They're for your helmets as well as if you want to put them on your motorcycle. So they're a special, unique to the jail only blessing of the bikes that we're having for this event. And so we're going to have some little blessing cards as well that you'll be able to have and carry around in your wallets when you're out on your motorcycle.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can change my view again. Um, the other event that we've got coming up, and let me make sure that changed. I'm having to switch between multiple screens here as I do this. This one is an event that's taking place in May. This one is not only for motorcyclists, but it's also for cagers or for four wheels. So, if you want to come out and participate, this is the second annual Harold Young Memorial Scholarship Dart Run. This is named in honor of my father. We've put this event together, and it actually is a scholarship that goes to benefit a kid from Scott County High School who is looking to pursue a career in the field of sciences. My dad was a 39-year teacher there at Scott High School, and he taught physics and chemistry. And so we wanted to create something in honor of him. And so we're partnering with the Masonic Lodge. My dad was also a 50-plus year Mason. And so we're partnering with them. All the funds raised goes to that scholarship. And really cool thing, the historic Scott County Jail is the first stop on that event.
Yeah, and this was a lot of fun last year. We raised some money for this great cause, and what we do is we have dartboards set up at each of these 3 stops, and you take your chance, and whoever at the end is closest to the bullseye on each of those 3 stops, we'll have some very cool things to give out, and we'll have lunch and everything there as well. So again, come on out. This is going to be a great ride for a great cause. And as Miranda said, you don't have to have a motorcycle. You can be in a car. You can be in a side-by-side. Just you can walk, whatever, ride your horse, but come on out and support this event because it is supporting a very great cause.
Yeah, we raised nearly $1,500 last year. So that is going, $1,000 of that is going to the scholarship this year. And we'll actually be giving it out on the day of the event. And so hopefully be able to raise more for next year's students. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that off the screen. And I think we go ahead and bring tonight's guests on. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So these are great ladies. Miranda and I had the opportunity to meet both of them in person when they investigated the historic Scott County Jail, but we've also been on their podcast. So we're really looking forward to tonight's guests. They're just great ladies and just a lot of fun to talk to and hang out with. So let's bring them on.
All right.
So we've got Katie from Lady Teal's Curios podcast and Becky from Homespun Haints. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Hey, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
thank you.
Yeah, glad y'all could come tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourselves and how you started on this paranormal journey?
Katie, you want to go first?
Okay. Okay, so I have always been interested in weird stuff. My, I guess, interest started when I was a kid. I was really into science fiction, but I grew up in a very, very, very strict religion, and didn't leave that religion until I was 27. And basically, I became fascinated with everything related to the paranormal and weird and all of that because I was finally able to explore it without feeling super guilty about it. So for the past 3 years, I've just been kind of traveling around the country. We live in a camper full time, my husband and I, and we explore places that aren't just haunted, but maybe have like weird legends, anything from cryptids to aliens to just like anything that's unexplainable. We're very much into that.
Very cool.
And I grew up not too far from Scott County, about, I guess, 2 hours east, maybe, in Kingsport, Tennessee. And where I grew up, ghosts were just kind of a part of life. We told ghost stories to entertain ourselves. And I've just kind of been fascinated by it. I didn't understand why you wouldn't want to explore ghosts or do paranormal investigations. It just seemed like a normal thing. And I actually have not had too many opportunities to do real paranormal investigations. So that's why I was so thrilled to be able to, when you all opened this jail and opened it up to that sort of thing, I mean, it was worth the 4-hour drive. So much fun.
It was. We had a lot of fun that night. Now, you both have very successful podcasts. I mean, I've been guests on both of them and really enjoy listening to them both. So, Katie, why don't you tell us first about how you kind of morphed into the journey of being a podcaster, and then Becky will follow with your story.
Sure. I started kind of as a diary as for my travels, and then also to learn about people. As I mentioned, like I was very sheltered before, so the podcast was kind of a way for me to branch out, talk to people with different beliefs, and talk to a lot of people who had strange experiences. And it's just kind of a way for me to like research and gather information, and then also record my own journey, like not only physical, but like spiritual journey as well. So yeah, that's been going on for about 3 years as well.
Nice. Yeah, Lady Teal's Curios. So that's Katie's podcast. Again, it's just a vast array of different and odd and unique stories and guests. So highly recommend her podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then Becky, how'd you get started in it?
Oh, sorry. I guess my mic was muted. I was just going to say, and how can people listen to that?
Sure. So it's on basically anywhere where you can find podcasts. iTunes, Spotify are my two favorite ones to use. But if you have a different podcatcher, it will work on that as well.
Okay, Becky.
All right. I started Homespun Haints with my co-host Diana back in 2019. It was really kind of a passion project. I was trying to find a way to take the oral traditions of ghost stories that I had grown up with and sort of put them out for a larger audience. And I had initially just thought that it was going to be just Southern stories, focused a lot in Tennessee, but after I started talking to people all over the world, I realized that we all have so many great stories and there's so many similarities between them. Mm-hmm. And it's been just a wonderful experience. I've had the chance to meet great people like you. I've met Katie. The community that I have met through paranormal podcasting has been absolutely phenomenal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it really is interesting that, I know that I think I was on Katie's podcast first, and then Becky with Homespun Haints. And so it is really interesting that we've all kind of connected through this. I think it's fascinating, and I'm very blessed to have met you both and to be on this journey with both of you. But it really is interesting how we've kind of morphed into this really interesting community.
Absolutely.
And if people want to catch your podcast, I guess anywhere where you can get your podcasts?
Yes, absolutely. It's called Homespun Haints. And if you can't find us anywhere else, you can always go to homespunhaints.com, and we have all of our episodes up there. And we also have a blog. We have a area where we're collecting stories about the most haunted places in the U.S. And we actually just put an article up about the Scott County Jail right there.
That's right. Very nice article, by the way.
It is very well written. Thank you for that.
Yes, we're going to share that on the page after our podcast here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you.
So as y'all said before, you met for the very first time at the historic Scott County Jail. So you want to kind of walk us through how that kind of came to be?
So Becky and I have known each other before the Scott County Jail. So we've like hung out a few times. But this was our first dual paranormal investigation. Typically for me, I do solo paranormal investigation. So this is like the first one that I've done with other people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was, it really worked out well. We had originally planned to meet up in Nashville, and that didn't work out, but this did. And it was a lot more fun, I think. So I'm glad it worked out. And actually, since then, we both actually just went to Savannah last weekend together and did some more. We didn't actually do any real investigation, but we looked around. We looked for some ghosts. So.
Oh, okay. Did you find anything?
We still have to go through stuff.
You don't have to look too far in Savannah.
Right,
No,
right.
I'm sure there's something on there somewhere. Just a lot of footage to go through.
That's an answer that we all can commiserate with. Absolutely.
Well, it was just, the investigation that you guys did up here, it really ended up being such a great setting because it was part of one of our guided ghost hunts. And so, both of you folks, as well as we had two other people on there that they've actually come and done several different guided ghost hunts there at the jail. So I thought it was just a really great dynamic, and it really seemed like the spirits really enjoyed the interaction of all of us, especially in certain areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
It definitely felt like there were some areas that were a lot more active than others.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, for those for our people that are listening, so just kind of walk through what your experience was, when you first came to the jail, kind of, if you felt anything, kind of describe that initial, walkthrough of the jail, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, when I first arrived, I have to say, first of all, and I've said this before, I was so thrilled by like how warm and inviting it was that you guys have set it up. I didn't know what to expect, but there was plumbing, there was heat, there was hot cocoa. It was very nice.
Thank you.
But I did not feel anything ominous. It felt kind of playful or curious more than anything else. The energy that I felt there. And it did seem to shift as you got higher up on the top floor with the more maximum security areas, especially that room with all the newspapers, that cell block. That was,
Yeah.
just seemed like a lot of memories in there.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Katie, how about you? What were your impressions?
Yeah, so I stopped by a little earlier to get some photos, and just even in the daylight, it was just amazing to look at, and immediately one of those places that you think that's haunted for sure. So I was just entranced as soon as I saw it. I am not one of those people that really pick up on energies per se. Like, I don't know, every place typically feels the same to me. So I kind of rely on like my equipment and everything. I will say, just as I'm sure we'll get into it again, but this is the first time that I heard things ever with my own ears. And then the first time that I actually felt something and smelled something.
Yeah. Yeah, we tend to get that a lot at the jail.
Yeah.
And, as Miranda said, for me, just meeting the two of you, and then we had Susan and another Becky on the tour with us that night as well. And as Miranda said, it was a great dynamic. And I just think that, one, the fact that we were all females, and I think the curious nature of everybody who was there that night, I think really allowed the spirits to kind of come out and say, okay, we're here. We want to let you know that we're here. So I think that's what I really enjoyed about that night. Everybody kind of came in with, not very high expectations, but hopefully we're going to capture something. And I think that's what our spirits respond to a lot, right? There was no provoking. There was no, going in with any type of, hey, come out or we're not going to believe you're here type of mentality. It was just a really laid back, just ask questions and see what we get. And I think that's what I really enjoyed about that night.
Yeah, and just a positive attitude. I mean, it really seemed like, because I know I'll say I was just so excited to finally get to meet you two in person, because just
Same.
listening to podcasts and talking, via living in my computer, I guess. It was really cool to be able to meet in person. So I was excited about that, and I think that energy that we had when we went into it, like Christy said, as far as the expectations, but also more or less just kind of going in looking looking to have that and desiring to have that communication. And so I think that really paid off, because we did, it seemed like we had disembodied voices. I was just blown away by the flashlight activity that was happening upstairs on the third floor in the women's cell. And I know that can be kind of a controversial tool, but just the way it was responding and the way it was acting, it was almost like we had this group of females in this cell, and then there were other females there, and it was almost like they were laughing and cutting up with us. So it was really cool.
Yeah, I was so excited to actually work with the flashlights, because I've seen it in your videos, and it's always kind of blown me away the way it does seem like they're responding to what you say, and to actually experience that firsthand, it was absolutely amazing. And then also the ghost box that Katie brought, being able to use that, and the fact that the answers that we were receiving, or we were saying, paired up so well to the questions. Again, it was so cool. It was just so cool to have such positive and validating responses to everything we did.
Yeah, because you all did the Estes method quite a bit during the investigation, which was really cool. And I know that Susan and Becky, who came along on the investigation, they had read the book about the Jerome Boyett case. And so it was really cool, because she was asking questions to try to validate some of the history from the book. And Katie was responding. Well, I think you did as well several times, was responding with accurate and intelligent answers. And neither of you have read the book, correct?
No. Well, we also didn't know what the questions were.
Right.
Yeah. So just to backtrack just a second for those who are watching. So what we did is when when the teams got there, or when the ladies got there, we actually took a brief tour around, and then we decided to investigate first as a group, right? So there were 6 of us. We investigated as a group, so we went to all 3 levels, and then we kind of split off and we were in pairs. But what we were talking about with the Estes method, either Katie or Becky had noise canceling headphones on, and they had that connected to the spirit box, while the rest of us were asking questions. The idea is that the words coming through the spirit box, we're hoping those are words that are relevant to the questions that are being asked. And neither Katie nor Becky could actually hear the questions we were asking. They were just yelling out the words that they heard on the spirit box. And so that night, it was a great, what we call spirit box session. And some of the answers that we got were pretty spot on with the questions that were being asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
go on.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, so I think we have a few examples of those too. And Becky, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there.
Oh no, I was going to talk about some of the things that happened with the when we were alone.
Yeah, please.
But, that was just continuing on. So we had an instance where Katie had the headphones on, and she was conducting the session. It was just the 2 of us up in one of the maximum security cell blocks, and at one point, I started asking, where are you, or can I find you? And she started responding with directions that were leading me away from her. And I actually got to the end of the cell block, and where if I had kept going the way her directions were leading me, we would have been separated, and I would not have been able to see her anymore. And I think, Katie, you actually started getting a little freaked out. You're like, "Don't leave me!" And I said out loud, "I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to separate from Katie," or something along those lines. And that's when you had that really interesting experience, Katie.
Yeah, that's so that is one of the EVPs that I sent you. And I think you had just walked back and sat down next to me. So I remember you sitting next to me, and just I have never ever felt anything physically like in a paranormal investigation before. I've caught EVPs and had lights shine and things like that, but this was like unreal. Like I was leaning against the bars in the cell, and I felt the bars shake, and I like felt it was like the force came through my body and like went against the bars of the cell. So that was pretty crazy. And the sound was so loud. I had the headphones on, and the sound was so loud that it confused me, because I thought something must have happened that was so loud that it came through the headphones. And I thought like maybe Becky or something fell over. and, you'll hear me, and I literally take the headphones off, and I'm like, what was that? Because it freaked me out so much. Not like I was scared of anything. Like I don't typically get scared, but it just like it was very unnerving. And yeah, and then Christy, you ran up and
Right.
Yes.
so that just made it all the more exciting.
So during that sequence of events, again, so Katie and Becky were on the 3rd floor, and then myself and the other Becky were on the 2nd floor, and Miranda and Susan were on the 1st floor. And so when Katie heard that noise, Becky and I actually heard it on the 2nd floor, and it was so loud, I had just assumed that either Miranda and Susan had made it, or one of you guys had made it, right? So you can actually hear me on my recorder tell the other Becky that had to have been one of them. That was so loud that had to have been one of them. And so then we're sitting there, and I hear footsteps running up the stairs, and I thought it was either Miranda coming up or Katie coming down, Katie or Becky coming down. And I said, oh, here, and you can again hear me in my recorder tell the other Becky, oh, somebody's coming, they're going to come. And then nobody materialized on our 2nd floor. And then we heard the footsteps run up again. And I'm like, where did that person go? Where'd that person come from? Because we heard the steps pretty loudly on on that back stairwell. And so that's when I went up and asked if one of you guys had come down. And then that's how that sequence of events went.
Right.
Yeah, and we were there on the 1st floor. We actually, and we couldn't tell where it was coming from because it was essentially 2 floors up from us. But I know we were there in the primary museum room, and we heard this loud bang. Now we weren't close enough to hear anybody on the stairs, because I think maybe the heat was on the 1st floor because it was really cold that night. And so we couldn't hear running up the stairs. But I remember when we heard that, I know Susan and I looked at each other and we're like, okay, that had to be one of them upstairs.
Yeah.
And so we waited to hear from somebody. And so I think we stayed where we were, and then we went to another room downstairs, because it was probably another good 15 minutes or so before we even came upstairs and kind of had the conversation with you guys. So so yeah, we were all hearing something, just didn't know what it was. So I'll go ahead and play that. If you'll bear with me a second. Which one is that? Because Christy had to send them in Messenger to me, and there's no title.
So
is it the longer
with
one?
The file names? It's EVP Old Scott Jailhouse.
It would have been the last one, I think, Miranda.
The last one. Okay. So I'll go ahead and share that. It doesn't have anything other than the time on it. So,
okay.
Okay. So bear with me one second here, and I'll get that pulled up. And I encourage everybody to, go back and listen to these with headphones. And some of them you don't need headphones for, but let me. Okay, here we go.
It's okay if I shine the light in here? Anybody in there? A lot of stuff in there. It looks like somebody wants boots. Did you look over there?
EVP.
Wow.
Where?
You mind if I just rewind that one? Because that one,
Go for it.
and we'll play the whole thing, but that just so people know.
What? Did you look over there?
That's a male's voice saying no.
Where?
What was that?
What? What?
Maybe it was in the headset. Somebody just went, I just heard like a really loud thump, like I felt it, and then somebody went, ooh, like they got punched or something. It sounded, but it was like so loud, it sounded like it wasn't in the headphones.
I mean, it could have been the way the noise canceling something, because there's,
And it was just like loud.
was it a man's voice? Or?
Yeah, it was like somebody got freaking punched in the gut and they were like, ooh, and then they like banged against the, like it sounded like it was behind me and they hit the rails or something.
Oh, wow. No.
And it, like I felt it vibrate.
Did you almost move? No.
Okay, but wait, why are you asking?
So that's Chrissy that just came up.
Upstairs.
Because I just, like we were just doing a session and it sounded to me, I had headphones on and it was so loud, it sounded like somebody just got punched and I felt this and this rattle, but she didn't feel it.
So I was saying, because we were down there and we heard boom, boom, boom coming up the stairs. And I'm like, oh, it's either them coming up or the others coming down. And nobody had appeared in the doorway. She and I both heard it. It was kind of crazy.
We've been here the whole time.
All right, thank you.
You said, did you look over there? Was that in the headphones?
Yeah, that was.
I think that was
Because I
it.
was like,
So to me, that's just, and we have a comment over here. Carl says that wasn't EVP. Actually, I'm really quite blown away by that one because, and thank you for having the presence of mind to actually cut, a lot before and after to really show just everything about how, the sequence of events and how it all played out, because it's really interesting to me how that happens. One, that we all heard it. Two, that Christy then goes up to check it out. And then three, the fact that it was heard over, so it was heard through your headphones. So it was being heard in real time by your recorder, but yet I don't think, Becky, I don't think you actually heard the disembodied voice. Did you?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with me that evening because I didn't hear that. I didn't smell the smells that Katie smelled right next to me. I think something was like, we're just gonna make sure she doesn't experience anything tonight or something. It was very bizarre that I didn't hear it when all of you did, and obviously it happened, and we got it on recording.
Yeah. And to me, when I heard it, it just sounds like a male voice going no in response to Katie's question. So that was just, to me, just a great catch.
May I play that Mel's voice again? Just so everyone hears it. It's just.
And the clicking that you hear, Becky, that's you turning on and off a flashlight, right? So
Sorry.
So you'll hear Katie ask the question. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm trying to pull it back. And the voice that you hear far off, I think, is what you guys asking questions on the second floor.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
a lot of stuff in there. It looks like somebody bought some boots.
Did you look over there?
That was the male's voice yelling no. Did you
Wow.
look over there? No. That's that's crazy.
Such an insane catch. And I can only imagine how that, because such a powerful voice. I can only imagine how that sounded inside your headphones. I can understand why you would jump back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just like really disorienting, I think. Just because like if you have noise canceling headphones on, you feel like you're in a very liminal space already with those things on. And then for that to happen it's like a shock, like, whoa, where did that? And then for me to feel something too. And so when I was asking, did you look over there? That was actually the question that popped up. Like, that wasn't me asking Becky if she actually looked over there. That was one of the questions that popped up from the spirit box. So I'm not sure if he was like responding to somebody else on the spirit box, because I heard a male voice ask, did you look over there? And then immediately heard that and felt the rattling and everything. So
Right.
I'm not
And
sure if
that-
it's like a time slip or what.
Yeah, and then
that's also part. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad, Becky. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that was part of the directions that she was like, when she was repeating directions to me. And that's why I'm clicking the flashlight on and off, because she's basically directing me, look here, look there, look there. Did you look over there? So that was that part of it.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. And then again, to couple that with the footsteps, I mean, they were very loud footsteps. To couple that with the footsteps that we heard, again, that's just completely unexplainable to us.
Sorry, I'm getting a cat out of the way. Sorry about that. I didn't want him to knock anything over. Yeah. So as far as some of these other catches, I mean, like I said, to me, just that one was incredible with everybody, reacting to something in that moment. Let's talk about some of the other EVPs that you sent, and you tell me which one to set up there or to play. Go ahead and set it up, and then I'll play it.
Sure. I'm trying to look at the timestamps to see what they are. So, okay, 43 seconds. Nope. Okay. Because when I pull them up on my computer, they're just the names. So let me pull them up and that one is, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Let me see here.
I think the one that is 121 is the kitchen, all three total is what that one is.
Oh, that
so
one.
There's, so that one, you definitely have to use headphones for that one, but there are voices that like we kept hearing. And so I was standing close to the, what do you call it? The little shaft that brought up the
dumbwaiter.
The dumbwaiter. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was standing over there and I kept hearing somebody say something behind me, and it sounded like they were repeating the same thing. When I listen to the EVP, I can't really tell what they're saying at all, and it's very faint. So I don't think I amplified this one yet. But yeah, we can go ahead and play it.
Okay. And that's the 121. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that beautiful? I think you just guys are Patsy Cline. Yeah. Do you guys like fairy tale? I really like Patsy Cline. Voices? Huh? Voices?
Yeah.
I wish I did.
So all during that little silence period, there's voices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was just after Becky had sang, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Is that outside? Well, was the voices outside?
It sounded like it was out there in the hall.
I thought so too. Either from behind Katie or up here.
Something is repeating the same thing over and over again.
It's us. That's what it says.
It says what?
It's I hear it. I heard it twice. One at 43 seconds, and then right before the end there, it's saying it's us. That's what I hear.
You want me to play it again?
At least to about 43.
Okay.
43 or 44 seconds.
I don't know why that didn't.
that beautiful? I think it's just like some Patsy Cline. Yeah. Do you guys like fairy tale?
It's behind
Voices?
Huh?
Voices?
Yeah.
I wish I did. My voice teacher was a jazz fan.
Is that outside?
What is that?
Well, it was the voices outside.
It sounded like it was out there in the hall.
I thought so too. Either from behind Katie or out here.
Something is repeating the same thing over and over again.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And it goes again.
hmm Yeah. It's
Yeah.
as soon as it starts, we don't have to play it again, but as soon as it starts, you hear the first one say it's us. And then I hear it 3 times during that clip. It's us. It's us.
Wow.
Interesting.
Nice catch.
So I caught that too, just with my phone. It's I didn't send it because I wasn't sure if it would be worth it because I wasn't sure if it was anything. But I was when I was standing next.
We
to
were in the
you
back,
there.
you and I.
Yeah.
Mhm.
hmm And so I was standing kind of close to you, and it was the same thing. I couldn't interpret what it said, but it came at the same time.
Mhm.
So it's good to know that that's what it was saying. But I did catch us saying, "What was that? What was that?"
Mhm.
We heard it, and so there. I mean, both of us caught it.
And what's interesting about that as well is because it was caught, Katie was up near the front with Christy, and then you and I were in the back. So it would be cool to be able to take both of those recordings and try to triangulate where it was happening at, because I know at one point it sounded like there was something kind of back where we were, but then it also sounded like it was out there in the hall. So it's interesting, that, I mean, I think that kind of cancels out somebody's stomach, or whatever, if it's like caught on both recordings and we're in 2 completely separate areas of the room, which is really cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. From my memory of this, it was definitely coming from behind Katie because I was standing over by the door and Katie was to her point was her back was to that dumbwaiter. And so, I mean, to me, I hear it. I had my microphone turned up the whole way. I hear it's us.
Well, I'll make sure that I send that clip over to y'all so you can
Yeah. That'd be great.
Awesome.
triangulate. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay. So what are we moving on to next?
I think the 43-second one is the sigh, and then maybe the 4-second one is the sigh amplified. If I
Okay.
sent the right ones over, so
Yeah. The 43 is labeled sigh.
Okay. We'll
Okay.
go ahead and do that one. Where was that one at?
So that was in the kitchen as well. We were all standing in there together, all 6 of us, and we just heard like a huge heave or a sigh, like somebody just going, like they were tired of us. I don't know. But I think Chrissy asks, "Did you guys hear somebody sigh?" And I was like, "Yes," because it was so blatant.
I think they were hungry that night. They kept wanting food. Okay, we'll go ahead and play that one.
Right.
I think we've got some sweet stuff downstairs too.
Did somebody just sigh?
Uh-huh.
I heard it. That wasn't me.
Did you hear it?
I heard it. And there was something over there.
It sounded like something, right? Did you hear it?
I heard it too. I thought it was one of them.
I figured it was one of y'all, yeah. Was that you sighing? It just got real dark.
You tired of us asking you questions?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
That was a really good one.
Yeah, and what's interesting is people get a lot of sighs there. They get sighs and they get like, ugh. They'll get like a kind of a
Like,
this I don't know if they're if it's a sign or what, but we'll play that one more time.
Mhm.
I think we've got some sweet stuff downstairs too. Did somebody just sigh? I heard it. That wasn't me. Did you hear it? I heard it. And there was something over there. It sounds like awesome. Like, did you hear it? I heard it too. I thought it was one of them. I figured it was one of y'all, yeah.
And we'll see if this one is amplified. Which you could clearly hear it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow. Do it one more
Great
time.
catches.
So now I'm not sure if I sent the right one. That might be a totally different.
That sounded like a voice to me. I
Yeah.
couldn't make
Yeah.
out what it was. It sounded like a voice toward the end. Let me go and play that.
Yeah, I think that's a different one. Sorry.
Mhm.
Oh no, that's
I
fine.
thought I sent the amplified one, but I guess not.
No, that's definitely a voice at the end of that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It almost sounds like it's saying, "Hey there." Hey there.
Hey there. Yeah. That sounded, I can't tell if that's female or older male. But it says hey there.
Yeah, hey there.
Just hey there.
Yeah. I hear an older male.
Yeah, I feel like
those
I
are
do that as
great.
well.
Yeah, those are fantastic. And it's just one of those things that's what we get at the jail, right? I mean, EVPs like that, and I'm really glad that y'all had the opportunity to hear them in the moment as well. And you really, Katie, the fact that you were smelling things as well. I mean, that has now become a common occurrence. Different smells. We had a team that came in and asked if somebody inside the jail was smoking marijuana. Obviously not. But they
Just
they
me
came
in there.
Yeah. Miranda.
Wasn't me, but it was just me in there.
So smells have absolutely become a thing now at the jail. So I'm glad that you were able to experience that as well.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
if Katie's
cigarettes
glad she
too.
experienced it, but
I'm sorry, Becky.
oh, I was going to say the smells that she experienced. I don't know. That was actually really fascinating because we were sitting side by side, and this actually happened in two different cell blocks.
Mhm.
We were in one, and we were sitting there, and she's like, "Oh, what was that?" And you said it was like a puff of sulfur right in your face, and then it happened again. We moved down the hall to another cell block, and then it happened again, and it was around the same time that you caught that EVP when it happened again. And I was sitting right beside you, and it was directed right at you, and I would have noticed that. That was
Yeah.
Mhm. And
Yep.
and see, that's the thing that's so interesting. You can spend a couple hours there and feel like you're getting nothing, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 right in a row, something will happen. And that's just it seems like that's kind of what we get at the jail. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
such
I'm
a
just kinda-
remarkable place.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does have a great history. So anybody over there that has not come, I know several of you in the chat room, we're going to be seeing you real soon. So we're excited about that. But if you haven't come to the jail, you need to make your way down because we have a lot of history, but we also have a lot of paranormal stuff that happens. So a little bit for everybody.
Yeah, and just it's crazy the different types of things that we've been experiencing lately, and too, just the consistency of it as well. Between different teams and such. The smell thing was something that the team that we had this past weekend was talking about. 2 weeks ago, that was when there was the pot smell going on, and so that's something that's kind of new. Something else that's been somewhat new that multiple teams have experienced are some of the light anomalies up on the third floor, kind of in the back part of the jail. And then of course down there at the drunk tank. I mean, that one's been very active. I don't know if it was, I can't remember if that was very active when we were there. I mean, when you all were there.
We had the one little thing go off that makes the really weird alien-like sounds.
Yes,
and
the Periscope 360.
Yeah.
Yes. That
Yes.
was going off there. Yeah.
which I cannot get that thing to go off very often. I mean, half the time I thought it was broke because it never went off. So, so to have it go off down there was really cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking over here kind of in the comments and, let's see. One of them that I saw earlier, Cindy Lau says, my grandson has a touch of autism and he sees some people that have been gone. That's something, you know, that we've actually talked to several different people that have children with autism that kind of said the same thing. Let's see. And then let's see here. And Al Cooley from Ghost in the Valley says coming this summer. So we hope you do, Al. We're looking forward to
you're
that.
Gonna love it. You're going to love it.
Yep.
And then Alex says, I bet there are all kinds of parties going on when you guys leave.
Well, yeah, Alex, I got to tell you, the jail sits right next to the 911 center. And so when we come back in the mornings and open up, every now and then the 911 operators will come out and say, you know, after you left last night, we heard a scream from the 3rd floor, or we were outside smoking and a light came on. So they're actually witnessing things from the outside as well. So there probably is a party going on after we leave.
Oh,
yeah.
So cool.
It seems like it goes on a lot of the time when we're there. It doesn't
That's
matter.
true.
Doesn't matter what time of day it is. I had a group in yesterday during the day and we were sitting there talking and we were over near the drunk tanks and heard something up on the 2nd floor. And they're like, there's somebody up there, right? And I'm like, nope, it's just us here. So it happens all the time during the day, during the night. And then of course when we're gone. So I really wish there was just more time in the day so we could go through all the security cam footage just to see if, you know, see what we capture when we're gone.
Yeah. But, you know, Katie and Becky, again, thank you so much. We really enjoyed getting to meet you. We enjoy your podcast. And it was just a blast having you on this investigation. So you guys are more than welcome to come back anytime because we would love to do it again.
Oh,
yeah.
I know I absolutely will. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I definitely want to come back.
Well, good.
Well, I can tell you, the minute I got home and I told my mom that I had been up there, and she was really upset I didn't take her. So I'll be back.
Well,
hey, gotta bring mom back.
Bring mom back.
Yes, I will.
and go ahead again and plug your podcasts and where people can hear, just so, because I really encourage you guys, go on, like, share, and subscribe their podcasts because they've had both myself and Dr. Sumner on, but then also some amazing guests. And so please, ladies, go ahead and share again just where they can find you.
Sure. So my podcast is Lady Teal's Curios, and you can find me pretty much where any podcast can be found. And I talk about everything paranormal to weird events and all of that. So if you have a strange experience story, I am looking for guests for the next season. So you can shoot me a DM about that.
And I'm Becky with Homespun Haints. And also you can find me on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also go to my website, homespunhaints.com. It's myself and my co-host, Diana Doty. And we find people all over the world who have a ghost story they'd like to share. We have paranormal investigators, we have psychic mediums, and then we have people who don't identify as either of those, but have still seen some ghosts. So please check us out when you get a chance.
And we do have the hot links in the, excuse me, in the show notes there, but we will make sure when this is uploaded to YouTube later, and then also on our website, we will make sure to have the websites for both of your respective podcasts in there, just so people can find them.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you both.
Yes, thank you all so much. But stick around. We got just one more little segment to go, but stick around. We'll if you have time, and we'll talk to you after the show.
All right.
Okay. All right. Wonderful.
Great, ladies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just a blast having them out at the jail last month.
And I'm glad they were able to catch some stuff too. So that's always a bonus.
Yes. And so while I'm queuing this up, if you want to kind of go into our next segment?
Absolutely. So every time we have a podcast, we end the segment with this day in history, or a day in history, where we pick a random newspaper from Scott County and we read kind of the headlines of what happened during that random draw of the newspaper. But today is kind of interesting because this is actually the anniversary of a lynching that happened in Huntsville in 1896. So we're going to go ahead and pull some of those articles up right now. But this was one of the 7 lynchings. Go ahead.
I was just saying, let me confirm those that you sent were, did you send them? Because the numbering is different here in the email. So I'm just going to do it like this. For some reason, the numbering is weird. Okay. Go ahead. Continue on while I'm pulling that up.
Yeah. So again, this happened in the the late evening hours of March 21st, 1896. There was a gentleman by the name of William Murphy. He was in prison in Huntsville, or he was in jail in Huntsville because he had shot and killed a guy by the name of William Bowling in the Pioneer Village area of eastern Scott County. And so he completely confessed to it. He said, yep, I killed him. I'm not denying that. We had a beef. He made some remarks about my wife that I didn't like. So there was a feud between the two. And so William Murphy ended up shooting and killing William Bowling on February 5th of 1896. So he was arrested. He was put in the jail at Huntsville. And on this date in 1896, this night, this anniversary, a mob approached the jail. And they came in and they said that they needed to put an inmate inside the jail. They disguised themselves as deputies, and the jailer opened the door. Jailer Ellis went ahead and opened the door. And when he opened the door, a mob of about 10 to 12 individuals ran into the jail, and they demanded the keys to get William Murphy out of the cell. And Jailer Ellis refused, but his wife and his daughter were also there in the jail as well because they lived there. And so the wife and the daughter ran in, got the keys, handed them to the leader of the mob, and the mob went down and got William Murphy out of the cell. As they grabbed him out of the cell, William Murphy said, "Oh, John, please don't kill me. I'm praying to you, please don't kill me." So he recognized one of the members of the mob. The pleas really fell on deaf ears because they took William Murphy out and they hung him there in the town square. They said about 80 yards from the jail, and they tacked a note onto the tree that says, "Notice to all, do not remove this body until 8 o'clock in the morning." The body was not removed until 8 o'clock in the morning when the jailer cut him down. So this was actually the 4th lynching in Scott County history. There was one state execution prior to this, but this was the 4th lynching, and they referred to them as Judge Lynch's rulings. So basically that means a mob has come in and, without obviously the permission of the courts, they went ahead and hung this guy and really just took matters into their own hands. So after the lynching had occurred, the members of Scott County, all the citizens of Scott County got together and they filed a petition with the governor because they were really tired of the lynchings and they were really upset that somebody had come in and taken justice into their own hands. So they petitioned the governor of Tennessee to really act on behalf of with the sheriff of Scott County at the time, John Goad, to go and get these guys. So they did arrest 9 members of the lynching mob. 4 were actually indicted for the murders, and 2 years later, 3 of them were acquitted of the crime, and 1 had actually been killed in a shootout in July the year prior. So again, this is a really interesting day in Scott County history because this is the anniversary of the William Murphy lynching.
Yeah, and I mean, so many cool things about this story right here is the fact that took place back in 1896, but there's all these newspapers about it because these articles come from about at least 3 or 4 different newspapers, if not more.
Yeah, so the Chattanooga Times, there's the newspaper out of Nashville, some Sentinel newspapers had them on there. So I found some from Memphis, Nashville, Chattanooga, and we have, like you said, I think 9 to 12 different articles about this because it actually ended up being a really big deal because the citizens of Scott County were so outraged by this that, like I said, they filed those resolutions to get the governor involved, and the governor said, yeah, let's go get them.
Yeah, and a fact that I had ended up reading, of course, like you said, they were in multiple newspapers, but also multiple days because this was a story that spanned over
A week, because by the so he was lynched on the night of the 21st, rolling into the morning of the 22nd. So they arrived at the jail about midnight on the 22nd, and so by the 25th, then they had actually started to round up some of the mob. By the 27th of March, they had actually captured those 9 that they identified as being part of the mob, and then indicting 4 of them.
Yeah, and so, and the statistics that I just read on this is that Scott County had the most lynchings of anywhere. And when I say lynchings, I'm talking about the jailhouse lynchings, not anything else, but the most lynchings of any other place in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and like I said, by this time, this was the 4th one that had occurred in Scott County, and by all accounts, what we've read in the newspaper articles, the citizens were just really fed up with this. They said, this really needs to stop. And most of the members of the lynching party were from Campbell County. So that just irritated them even more, that we've got people coming from a neighboring county busting into our jail and taking our inmate. And so I think that really aggravated them even more. So that's why they went in and really put the hammer down with regard to sending in John Goad and getting all those members rounded up.
But of course, it didn't stop.
No, it didn't stop.
It didn't stop. Mountain justice still prevailed
Mm-hmm.
in Scott County because with what we have listed, and of course, we're actually finding more stories as we find out. But from what the records tell us, because we've gone through lots of different records with this, we have had 7 different lynchings of inmates there within, or excuse me, 7 different executions, 6 of them being lynches and 1 of them being executed by the state that actually occurred in the jail leading up to the last one, which was in 1928.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So, real quick to answer Al here, his spirit, we don't think is in our jail because this actually occurred before our jail was built because our jail was built in 1904. So we don't think his spirit's there. But he was hung not far from where our current jail sits. So there is a possibility, if spirits are going to go anywhere, there's a possibility that he could be in the jail. We have not, made any positive connection with him that we know of. So I'm not sure if William Murphy's there or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things we're continuing to research. And something else that is kind of crazy that you just mentioned is the fact that the jail was built in 1904. And so the county was established in 1849. And we're still trying to find records of where the actual location of the very, very first jail sat. Because from all accounts of what we've found and from what's in several of the different books, there was an overturned wagon or potentially like a caboose that was used.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to figure out if it could have been the old court or the very first courthouse or exactly where the jail sat, because we've not been able to, come up with the location of the original first jail before this one was built in 1904. So great questions and great, interesting story to cover.
Anniversary. Yeah. And so this is what we're going to really start trying to do as well. So if we have a story in the jail that has an anniversary date, we'll obviously be covering it on that anniversary date. So we're excited about adding this to our podcast. So this is very interesting this day in history because it literally is this day.
Yeah. And so, and Sheriff Goad, we've got more stories about him because he was an interesting fella because he was actually the first sheriff that held a sanctioned lynching there. So, so everybody's got cat problems.
I'm telling you.
So we've definitely got some more stories about him because he actually, after all of this happened, he left being sheriff not too long after this, just because of all the lynchings and everything that went on, during his term.
Yep, absolutely. So again, great story. And just to answer Alex real quick, Alex, my degree is in public affairs with an emphasis on criminal justice.
So, all right. So, So again, just to briefly cover a few things we've got coming up. We are ending the month of March, and so we do have what is there 2 weekends left in March, or is this the
Let me pull up my calendar because I honestly can't think right now. No, we have one more weekend. This is the last weekend in March.
Okay. So we've got one more weekend left in March. That means one more weekend of our Women's History Month flashlight tours, as well as I don't believe, I think we've got open dates for public ghost hunt
We do.
for Ladies Fright coming up on Saturday and Sunday. So we do still have tickets for that if anyone is interested. We do have a private ghost hunt on Friday night, but that's going to be wrapping up that this month. We've got the public ghost hunt dates for April already on the calendar, and I think we're about to get the flashlight tours put on there this week as well.
Yep.
So if you're interested, get in there and get those tickets early, because those events do sell out pretty quick. And so that's our After Dark tours, and then of course we've got the I think we maybe have one weekend open for a private investigation is all in April.
I think so,
Otherwise,
yeah.
that's pretty well booked. And of course, the Blessing of the Bikes event on April 16th. So,
Yeah.
so we'll be announcing more information on that. It's a free event, so if you want to come, show up
Yeah.
into our parking lot at noon on April 16th. Get your blessing. If you don't, if you do want more information about that, you can call the jail at 423-663-5353, or check out our website, www.historicscottcojail.com, where we'll have all information. We can answer any questions about that. And then also the dart run that's going to be taking place on May 21st. You're going to start seeing flyers for both of those events scattered all throughout Scott County, and posts all throughout the internet world coming up very, very soon with that as well. So,
Thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it. And again, thank you, Katie and Becky, for joining us tonight. Please go check out their podcast. Both of them are phenomenal podcast hosts, and you'll really enjoy them. So go ahead and check them out. And again, thank you for supporting us and sharing your evening with us.
Yeah. And so next week we are very, very excited, because we have got the director of our neighbor to the south of us, Morgan County. We've got the director of their Chamber of Commerce that's going to be coming on. Morgan County is the home of Brushy Mountain State Prison, as well as, the Obed National Park, the Obed Scenic River, and lots of really, really cool things to do to our neighbors to the south of us. So they have always been so super supportive of us and everything we do, and passing our name along. And so we want to have their director, Miss Bridget DeFee. She's going to be on, and she's going to be sharing some really cool things. She actually has a very, very phenomenal background herself, being military and just, again, another phenomenal woman to round out our Women's History Month. So stay tuned for that. That'll be next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yep. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.